So really, there's a couple of different things. And I will tell you that PCOS, almost unlike some other conditions, is truly a vicious cycle. I mean, this is, and you'll see that in a second. So in the ovary, if the oocyte or the egg, whatever you want to call it, if ovulation doesn't occur, then that follicle stays within the ovary. And here it says it continues to grow and it becomes a cyst. When this happens, when the follicle does grow and ovulation does occur, and what's remaining is called the corpus luteum. That's what ends up making progesterone. So if it doesn't ovulate, then the follicle doesn't grow, and then the corpus luteum doesn't occur. And if you don't have a corpus luteum, you have no progesterone. If you have no progesterone, then the pituitary senses that and really wants progesterone. So it starts making massive amounts of luteinizing hormone. That luteinizing hormone to the theca cells of the ovary start to produce more androgens like androstenedione and testosterone. And then those androgens leads to insulin resistance. So it doesn't matter where this starts. It can start with too many androgens or it can start with too much insulin resistance, but it ends up being this vicious cycle. And this is how conventional medicine basically looks at them, that we know PCOS is both some glucose dysregulation, insulin resistance usually, but also has to do with too many androgens, that those go back and forth, and that's PCOS. What I'm going to propose is that's not just the case, that there's a whole bunch of things, that this web could even be more complex than this. There can be more bubbles than this. This is why, as you will see, in many PCOS individuals, there's a whole bunch of different things that are going on.